Sweetbaby Inc. is looking for revenge in 2025 after being exposed in 2024 for being the perpetrator of DEI in all video games in the current modern day market and having their name put out there in streaming playlists like DEI Detected and Sweetbaby Inc. Detected, where people can just browse the games that they're involved in. It looks like Sweetbaby Inc. is going incognito with its CEO Kimberly, who hasn't lost a project yet. There are no gaming studios dropping Sweetbaby Inc. They're just dropping the name from the titles and credits of their games, but they're still getting work. And that's what we're hearing from insiders. Sweetbaby Inc. is still continuing to work in the industry. You're just not going to see their names anymore. You're just going to see that the people that they hire are influencing the design of many games. Over 30 games so far that are coming out this year. So Sweetbaby Inc. is still in power, and it looks like they're going for a revenge tour almost in 2025, where they're going to try to release as much games as possible influenced by their ideology. And I think that's the thing gamers are seeing with South by Midnight, a game that we've known for a while that's been a Sweetbaby Inc. game. It's been on DEI Detected, Sweetbaby Inc. Detected. We all know what happened with the main character of this game. The main character was originally supposed to be a Southern Caucasian woman, and then of course Sweetbaby Inc. got involved in the creation of the game, and it turned into a black, strong, independent woman that don't need no man. And that's just the culture that we see within Sweetbaby Inc. and their ideology. It's all about representation over the actual fun and enjoyment that the players get from the game. And of course, we see a game that is almost similar to some of the previous games that they released beforehand. I'm talking about Flintlock. Flintlock was a game that came out from Sweetbaby Inc. that had a low level amount of players actually streaming and enjoying this game. Only barely reached 607 people that actually played this game. And it's just one of many games that performed terribly last year. And I think that is the thing that we've been seeing with Sweetbaby Inc. in 2024, and I think them removing their presence from these titles is their kind of revenge tour against the gamers, because they're still getting the work, they're still getting the money, and they're still making millions of dollars to sabotage and destroy a lot of games. At least sabotage in our point of view. In their point of view, they think they're cleansing and bringing about a more safer and inclusive version of the gaming industry, an industry that was already very inclusive, but it included meritocracy, where you're supposed to be very talented at what you were doing and produce content that actually the customer wants to play. And that is the thing that is telling about Sweetbaby Inc. games. They're not made for game players. If you're not making games for game players, it's going to be pretty easy to point out which game is a Sweetbaby Inc. game. It's so easy to tell what a Sweetbaby Inc. game is. You can just look at the visuals of the game and instantly know that. And that's what people are doing with a game called Crush House, where it's a dating sim with, of course, multiple gender orientations that you can choose from, colorful, the kind of non-binary storytelling that is just highly focused on racial, gender diversity. And it was obvious to the people that were looking at the trailer of this game, they were thinking, this has to be a Sweetbaby Inc. game. And you just delve in a little bit deeper about the game and you see Sweetbaby Inc. written all over it. And that's what people did. They saw people that work with Sweetbaby Inc. working on this game. And this was the person they found, someone that works with Sweetbaby Inc. deeply. Their name is Maxine Sophia Wolf, and they're a trans activist that works with Sweetbaby Inc. in narrative design. And they worked in narrative design for Crush House, this game that came out with, of course, colorful hairs. Is a dating game, and I think it gets obvious that Sweetbaby Inc. is working on these type of games, and because we can tell with the telltale signs of what Sweetbaby Inc.'s agenda is. And I think this is the complaint from gamers. Once we know your agenda, we know every single game that you're going to make, because your agenda is monotonous, dull, and unintriguing. It's predictable, and I think that's the core focus that gamers are tired of with Sweetbaby Inc. Everything you do is predictable with the games that you are involved with. We know what type of games you like to make, what type of telltale signs, what type of focus of gender, racial diversity, what type of things you want to focus on within the storytelling. It becomes obvious what type of games that you're going to produce, and that is a sign that we're seeing with games like Crush House, which are ultimately failures in the end, because they do follow this predictable player design, where we see this game and we're going, what is this? No one wants to play this. The end result is just that. Nobody plays these games. And it leads to the failure of game developers, and it leads to the firing of developers and the shutting down of gaming companies if they're not smart enough. I think the developer of this game, Devolver Games, it seems like they were smarter in what they did. They probably put in very little money in the development of this game and may have just used this game as kind of a DEI welfare program where they're just paying some of these people that work with Sweetbaby Inc. so they can keep a job because they don't have any other professional skills at all. And I think that is the case with Maxine Sophia Wolf, where they just hired them because they're giving out the welfare bucks for these activists. I think that's the end result that we're seeing with a lot of the Sweetbaby Inc. involvement in some smarter developers that don't want to spend too much money. They just throw out a trash game that has Sweetbaby Inc. written all over it, and I think that's a lot of the products that we're going to get out of Sweetbaby Inc. these days, unfortunately for us, the gamers. But I think even more so, we're still going to see big AAA studios working with Sweetbaby Inc. just under the cover of certain guises and masks, where we're just not going to be able to tell that this is a Sweetbaby Inc. product based on the consultancy groups that are working on it. We have to look at the designers, and I think that is the thing that gamers are already picking up on. We can look at the game at face value. If it has a Sweetbaby Inc. type of consultancy layout, then we can just look at the names. We'll see the consultants that are working with Sweetbaby Inc. to have their name, because they're not going to remove their names. These people are vain and highly egotistical people where they want their names out there, and I think that is a thing that gamers are going to pick up on very quickly, because we just don't want to play these games in the first place. And it's just like the autistic spirit of gamers, where if they want to know where something is coming from, they'll find out. And I think that's what's going to happen with any game that looks like a Sweetbaby Inc. game. People are going to delve in and dig out the details. And I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of projects that are coming out right now that came out in the past. We already know about the Spider-Mans and Alan Wake 2s. These AAA studios seem dedicated to producing Sweetbaby Inc. content regardless until they're going bankrupt. And I think that's what we're going to see with Naughty Dog and Insomniac, and with their Wolverine title, and of course Alan Wake 2, Remedy Games. These studios are dedicated to this ideology because they believe in this ideology. And I think those are the studios that are going to suffer the most with the games that they're going to produce in the next few years. That's what we're already seeing with Alan Wake 2, a game that still hasn't been profitable since its release. It has that influence from Sweetbaby Inc. With the race gender swaps with a lot of the characters. And I think that is the thing gamers are pushing back from. We're just not going to let you come out with games and pre-order and buy it and then figure it out. That time is over. Gamers are going to look into the details of your game, and if it is connected to Sweetbaby Inc., that game is going to be a failure, and I don't think there's any way you can run from it, but this is their way of fighting back right now, Sweetbaby Inc. They're going to hide their name, but they're not going to hide their name at the same time. They're going to keep the people that work for them to actually keep their actual names on the titles of these games. And it's going to be easy to identify these games because these games all look the same. They all try to do the same thing, and they all send the same message. And that's fortunate for us gamers because it will be easy to identify a Sweetbaby Inc. game. And I think that is a thing that we're going to see from the future of Sweetbaby Inc. right now. Gamers are going to be investigative. We're going to identify the things that are always in Sweetbaby Inc. games. You can just look at the activist starter kit for a gamer right here, and it is kind of identifiable when you see IGN give something a good review, when you see non-binary, gender politics, racial politics involved with the game, when you see a bald-headed purple hair or blue hair protagonist, when you see a half-shaven head protagonist, when you see a black female protagonist, you already know that game is hyper woke. And you see anything related to these icons of modern-day progressive activism, you already know that game is going to be terrible. And I think gamers instinctively know this now. It's not something they have to work hard at. We just look at a trailer, much in the same way we watched the Naughty Dog Intergalactic trailer and knew instantly this was going to be a DEI Sweetbaby Inc. type of game. And I think that's the current situation in gaming. You can't hide anymore unless you actually make a game that goes against the zeitgeist. And most gaming studios that are associated with Sweetbaby Inc., they're doing the same thing over and over again. And unfortunately for them, the gamers are kind of hip to it, and you can't trick us anymore. And I think this revenge tour that they're going to go on is going to be another massive failure for anything that they want to produce. But that depends on what games they're going to be working on. If it's Grand Theft Auto, that's automatically a success no matter what. If it's some of these other games that are influenced, that already have their credibility intact, they may steal success at the jaws of defeat. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully you guys keep up with me. I'll keep you up to date with any Sweetbaby Inc. games that may be coming out in 2025. I'm going to keep myself hyper aware. I don't want anyone to purchase the Sweetbaby Inc. game unless you really just like it. If it's really a good game, then I'm not going to dissuade you. I'm not going to deny it. Sweetbaby Inc. has a genuine success from this year. But you leave a comment, tell me what you think about the situation. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.